Hello, and welcome to the live stream for 175,000 subscribers. You join me live on the world's ugliest couch by candlelight, and I would open up a nice bottle of wine to celebrate, but unfortunately I'm off the booze at the moment. I'm trying to do this thing where I only drink on 12 occasions throughout 2018. And I've already used up 2 of them because I figure it'll be average once a month, and then so I have like one for my birthday. But the thing is, December has 3. December has Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and New Year's Eve. So I've got to save up some points for then. So I've had 2 already. I had Burns Night, and I had Valentine's Day, and so I've got 10 left. I'm saving one for my birthday in April, but I'm afraid there's going to be no booze tonight on the stream. It's just going to be a nice hot cup of tea with coconut milk in as well, because having seen H-Bomb's latest video, I'm trying to cut down on the amount of cow's milk I drink. So thanks, H-Bomb. You've got me drinking all kinds of weird milks. I didn't even know you could get almond milk, but you can. Hello to everybody in the chat. Oh, cool! Hooray for new microphone! Yeah, you might be able to tell that this live stream is somewhat nicer looking than previous live streams have been, and hopefully somewhat nicer sounding as well, because there's a new microphone, as you can see, and you're also looking at me through new eyes because you've got a new webcam that's acting as your eyes. So the Patreon money has not all been, well, you know now, it's not been spent on booze at all. It's been spent on some technological improvements. Again, another thank you to H-Bomb for recommending me this whole setup. It's actually the same setup that he's got. And thank you to Contra for recommending me this webcam, which is the same one that she uses when she does her live streaming. So, yeah, I'm fully kitted out. I've got all the kit, and now I just need the talent. Lala Gorgak, you're going to be the first person that I'm going to read the chat message of, saying shout out to me, please. Shout out to you, Lala Gorgak. You guys may not know it, but I'm playing a little bit of live stream bingo with myself tonight. I don't know if you can make out what's written on this piece of paper, but in the various squares are the things that I thought might come up over the course of this evening. So I'm going to be ticking those off as we go through, because sometimes like the same old stuff comes up. But yeah, well done, people who noticed the new microphone, because I absolutely love this thing. I don't know how much can you hear me if I come in really close like this. Can I start doing what is it, ASMR videos? Can you hear me if I come in like this? Oh, hey, somebody says, I ship you with ContraPoints. We've already started. We've already started shipping with ContraPoints. I'm going to tick that off. What's that? 3, 6, 7 more to go. Okay, let's start. Hey, H-Bomb! I literally just now joined the chat and you're talking about me. Another YouTuber in the live chat, ticking that one as well. Absolutely racing through them. Good to have you, man. Welcome along. It's good to have you here. Oh, this is a good question. Jared Smith asks, what part would you most like to play that you would never in a million years be cast for? Ooh, well, I was talking the other day, like, what superhero would I most like to play? I think probably just based on like look, Doctor Strange would probably be the one that I would get cast as. I went as a fancy dress party as Doctor Strange once. And I doubt I'd ever... Well, obviously I'm not going to cast as that because it's already cast. But Doctor Strange would be a really cool role. But in a play, I'm not sure. Like, most of the roles that I want to play, I am in the casting range for. Or at least I think I am. So, like, maybe I'm only attracted to roles that I think I could play. Maybe that's like a deliberate thing. I'm not sure. But yeah. H-Bomb says, I guess it's time I subscribed. Have you not been this whole time? Oh, am I subscribed to you? I don't actually know. Well, I watch all of your stuff, I guess. Don't forget to subscribe and click the little bell that they've got now, and click the star and the wheel and give them your blood type and all the other things you need to do in order to actually just get YouTube to do their job. Anyway, let's not be bitching about YouTube quite so soon. Is your facial hair Doctor Strange inspired, says Naomi Harcrow. No, actually. So I grew this beard when I was in a production of Richard II last year, and I played Sir Thomas Mowbray. And I thought, well, you know, it's like Elizabethan times. Maybe I'll grow a little bit of Elizabethan beard. And I grew it out and did the show. And it was a hit. It was really popular. Not only on YouTube, everyone loved it, but also just in my life. And was like, the beard really suits you. It's a good look. Like, everybody likes the beard, with the exception of my mum. So I've just decided to keep it. And I have to say, like, a couple of times I've been like almost going to be shaving it off. And then somebody persuaded me not to. So my girlfriend is a big fan of the beard, and yeah, she persuaded me to keep it a couple of times. And I've just been cast in something. I just got quite a good role, which the beard definitely would have helped with. Like, I didn't get it because of the beard, or at least I hope not. I hope I got it because of my acting. But yeah, the beard has been professionally usul, because I mean, this is something I hadn't appreciated, but when you're on stage under bright lights, and even right now under these lights, like, if I didn't have the beard, you wouldn't be able to see as much of my face, because the light, it would just be like skin. So the beard like really helps an actor look nice under lights. Means you can be visible from a long way away. And then it's all the little things like that are really interesting acting, because then people come away from the show and be like, that guy, he was really good. And it's like, it wasn't even any better. It's just his face is in your brain because he's got a beard. So it's been useful. And also my headshots now have my beard on, and I now cannot shave my beard without asking my agent first. So the beard is here to stay, but it was Shakespearean rather than Doctor Strange inspired. Somebody says that's a beard. Technically it's a beard. It's like just theoretically. Somebody says that you should get a full-grown one. Well, I can't change it without asking my agent. So somebody says tea or coffee. It's tea. It's Lady Grey tea. Somebody says it's an underrated Richard for a beard. Oh, I wasn't Richard. I was Mowbray. I think Richard didn't have a beard at the time. Doughboy DeVito, what a name, says, hello and happy late 18th birthday to me. Well, happy birthday to you, Doughboy DeVito. Thanks for coming along. Is there a name for this thing, or is it just random Q&A time? It's very much random Q&A time. Yeah, anything you want, just stick it in the chat. I can't guarantee that I'll answer all of them, but yeah, I'll see what's going on. Did you ever visit Portugal? I have visited Portugal. I've been to Portugal twice. I went once when I was a little boy, and once a few years ago on a kind of like a piss-up tour with some mates. So yeah, Portugal's lovely. Really, really hot. A lot of cats where I was. I forget exactly where I was, but I think I was somewhere on the south coast. Somebody says, what is Lady Grey? Lady Grey is a kind of tea. So you know Earl Grey? Lady Grey was his wife, I think, who like said, it's good, but I can do it better. Fun fact, actually, Earl Grey tea, invented by Earl Grey, was brewed, or like designed specifically to be brewed with the water from Northumberland, which is my home county, which is why that when I go home, the tea tastes better than anywhere else. There you go. There's some history. Were you ever offered a role or played a role in a play whose politics you didn't agree with? Actually, yes. Yes. I can tell you a story about that. So there's kind of two things about that. The first story I will tell you is that a few years ago, I was asked to audition for the role of David Cameron. This is before I had the long hair and the beard. It was going to be in a web series, kind of political satire web series. And the director saw me in something else. She was also the writer. And she saw me in something else that was also political and said, I'd like you to audition. So I auditioned, sent her a self-tape. And I had a bit of a chat with the director during the audition process. And she said, where do you lean politically? And I told her roughly where I was at that stage. And she was like, okay. And as I understood it, the director in this web series was going to be playing a very, very right-wing character, what we would now call the alt-right, kind of white nationalist. In those days, there wasn't like that kind of name for it, but she was sort of proto-alt-right, the character that the director played. And in the end, I didn't get the role. And I asked the director, that's fine, can you give me any feedback? And she said, oh, I thought you were great, but I've decided to play the role myself. She decided to Kenneth Branagh it. She directed, wrote, and starred. And she was actually quite a good David Cameron. She was a better David Cameron impersonator than I was. But I later, many months later, found out that it wasn't an alt-right character that she was playing. I found her personal Twitter account, and she is an out-and-out Nazi. She's like a real, really, really right-wing white nationalist. And this series, this was being made at the time when David Cameron was still PM. This series was criticizing him from the right. And I thought naively, perhaps, they're like it's like Stuart Lee, occasionally inhabits really right-wing characters in order to like send up the right. But no, she was playing it straight and was just like criticizing him from the point of view of a white nationalist, essentially. So I dodged a bullet on that one. Very nearly got cast in something that I would have, in that case, I probably would have had to say, I can't do it. That's the thing about and I was having this discussion a few days ago with somebody about professionalism and what it means to be an actor, to be cast in something that we might not always agree with. Because I mean, I would love to do Shakespeare, and I really enjoy doing Shakespeare. Arguably, some of the Shakespearean plays are like problematic in some sense. Like there's versions of The Merchant of Venice that are anti-Semitic, and although I can't talk about it tonight, I have recently been cast in something which I don't think is like majorly problematic, but just happens to have a message that I don't personally believe in, and I will be able to talk about that at a later stage. I'll do an announcement on the channel because I know that some people who are based in London want to come and see me and stuff, and I'm gonna be in a show. A lot of people are going to see it. The audience is going to be probably measured in the tens of thousands. That's just the live audience, and the TV audience, I think it gets broadcast right around the world, is going to be pretty big, and I've got quite a major role in it. So yeah, I don't personally believe in the message that's being offered, but I was having this conversation the other day with somebody about like professionalism and what does it mean to be an actor and to turn up and just be the acting department. I think on YouTube, I'm used to having a lot of creative control, and that means a kind of responsibility as well, because I create the whole thing. Whereas as an actor, all I do is I turn up and I'm the acting department. And if the writing department or the production department or the directing department hasn't quite fully thought through, I think part of being a professional is kind of knowing what my lane is and what my job is, especially at this stage in my career. So yeah, that's an interesting discussion. Yeah, it's tough. Somebody says play Hamlet. I'd love to. I would really, really love to. Could you do some philosophy of maths or logic on the channel? Yeah, I'd like to. For a while now, I've wanted to do a video on like what are numbers and do numbers exist. But PBS Idea Channel kind of did that video a few years ago, so I'd like to do something on the philosophy of maths and logic. But I'm waiting to be able to find what the philosophy tube twist on it will be. Somebody says the philosophy of acting. When? I've got a script on the philosophy of acting that I've never made. I've got the kind of script in my scripts folder, and I wrote it at the time and thought it would be decent, but it was very much about my drama school training and was kind of giving some stuff away. And the thing about my drama school training is that it was quite very hands-on and practical. First of all, it's not really something that I could explain theoretically. Except to give a description of it, which would just sound very odd. Like I've tried describing it to people like my parents and like my mom and stuff, and they were just like, "What? You doing what?" So like for instance, one of the things we did it's something that the people who are on the same course as me right now are doing, like currently tonight, is we went out and we stayed in character in the woods for a month, built all our own, a week, and built all our own shelter and stuff, cooked our own food. And it's tough to kind of explain how that helped, but it did, and was magical for a number of reasons. So partly, I think philosophy of acting, I'm not sure I could really do it justice theoretically, and partly I think the training that I did was Dionysian was the word that we were encouraged to use, but like not secret classified, but secret like important. So maybe there could be a philosophy of acting. Maybe, if I can figure out how to do it right. Hey, we're absolutely racing through live stream bingo, though. So I can tick off talking about politics. Somebody's already asked me about that. I can tick off talking about acting. Somebody's already asked me about that. And will you ever do a video about X? There's literally only 3 spaces left on this thing. I've managed to very, very accurately predict what people will ask. Have you ever been to the Isle of Man? I have not. I have not been to the Isle of Man. I've got a friend, Pierre, who's from the Isle of Man. I'm just eating a chocolate biscuit. My friend Pierre, who's from South Africa and then the Isle of Man. And he's a stand-up comedian. And he's got this... I'll just drop my biscuit in my tea. He's got this great joke he does where he says, I'm from the Isle of Man. And if you're from the Isle of Man... no, he says, I'm from the Isle of Man. If you know anything about the Isle of Man, you'll know that because I'm here, it's currently empty. And then he says, and if you've ever been to the Isle of Man, you'll know that everyone you meet is just me in a series of increasingly elaborate disguises. And I once saw him do that routine at a gig. And then he went into some standard comedian stuff, like asking somebody in the front row, like, what do you do? Where are you from? And he asked this guy, where are you from? And the guy said, truthfully, I'm from the Isle of Man. And Pierre was like, well, what do you do? If you're here, then who's manning the island? You know? It was great. So I've never been, but I hear that it's very, very small. Somebody says, what's the deal with the only 12 occasions to drink? What's that about? So to any latecomers to the stream, I'm doing this thing where I'm trying to only drink on 12 occasions throughout 2018. I did it partly just to see if I could, partly for the kind of health benefits, or like decided to like try and just be a little bit healthier. Partly because sometimes drinking makes me sad. Not always. I'm kind of sad drunk. I'm not. And some people, well, if I have enough. And yeah, I just decided why not? Just be something fun to do. Just a bit of a challenge. And then, because I realized also, drinking in London is expensive. Whereas I went out the other night and had 2 lime and sodas. I spent like £1.60 all night. It was amazing. That's £1.60, not £160 on lime and sodas, obviously. But yeah, so I'm saving myself a lot of money and kind of being healthy. In a similar vein, somebody says, Slawi Dimitriov says, are you still going to the gym? I am. My mate, who's a personal trainer, is still like basically training me. We're in the gym like 4 times a week now. It's good fun. I'm enjoying it. Like, yeah, I'm having good fun. When you do drink, what's your go-to? Ooh, it depends. I'm trying to save them up for like special occasions, so I'm having like special stuff. So on Burns night in January, I had some whiskey, some nice whiskey I got for Christmas, which was like a special thing. And then on Valentine's Day, I had like a really nice bottle of wine that I've been saving up. It's my favorite wine in the world. So somebody says, how do you feel about Naruto? I've never seen it. I've never seen it. Like, I know that it's a whole massive deal, and I think I probably have to start at the start, and it would take a long time. Somebody says, drink on 12 occasions, smoke weed every day. Yeah, I think probably my overall fitness would suffer if I was smoking weed every day. James Woodwright says, what introductory book in ethics do you recommend? That's tough. I get a lot of questions like this. People are like, what's the introductory book on ethics or metaphysics or aesthetics that you recommend? And the thing is, because I went to uni and did philosophy, I didn't like have an intro book, though I never sort of read this sort of beginner's guide to, which is sort of the reason why I make that sort of thing. I just sort of went straight to the primary text because they chuck you in at the deep end. So I don't know what I would really tell you to go to the intro book for ethics. Like the first serious books I read on ethics were the primary sources. I was like Nicomachean Ethics. Bam, there's your reading list. Week 1, go and read Aristotle. So when people say like, what's the intro book? I'm like, I don't really know off the top of my head. Like I have a few, compendiums, anthologies, like classic texts in, but you could easily find yourself like classic texts in ethics. You know, you could find a decent selection that's just sort of been edited together by some professors, and it'll have some contemporary stuff and some ancient stuff. So yeah, I guess if you just Google readings in ethics, like ancient and modern, it'll be called something like that. There'll be some standard text that you can get. So yeah. Rob Simpson says, how do you feel philosophy integrates with modern science? I don't mean public policy, so much as in terms of how researchers consider their actions or apply philosophy to fill out their understandings. I was reading an amazing book on this recently by Deirdre McCluskey. It was called The Rhetoric of Economics, which is going to be featuring on upcoming episodes of the show. And it's all about, I'll tell you about that episode of the show that I've written in a moment, because it's going to be a fun one. But she's got this book that's all about, it could have been called like The Rhetoric of Science or The Rhetoric of Biology if she had been a biologist or whatever, but she's an economist. And she writes this book, which is all about the hidden philosophical assumptions and implications of the work that economists do, and how they try to like avoid encountering that. So she goes through some of the most influential and famous papers in economics from the 20th century and says, here's the way they're like not strictly doing economics. They're like trying to persuade you with a metaphor or like with some slightly fudged stuff or with like an appeal to authority or whatever. And it's just it's a fascinating book. I really recommend it. All about how economists try and avoid doing philosophy, but like she thinks ultimately can't avoid. They just end up doing bad philosophy. So I can't speak for scientists as a whole, but if you want to check out like philosophy and economics, The Rhetoric of Economics is a really cool book. Oh, somebody says, what's up next on the channel? Oh, yeah. I was just about to tell you this really fun video I've done. So this book, Rhetoric of Economics, has greatly informed a script I've written, which is about flat earthers and like science, and why it's sort of tentatively about why some people reject science, not just about flat earth, but about like vaccines and climate change and stuff like that. So it's about like, I suppose it's the rhetoric of science, basically. And McCluskey's informed it a lot. That's going to be really fun. I'm excited about that. Tomorrow's video, I filmed it today. I kind of moved it up the schedule. I was going to film it in a couple of weeks, but I filmed it today. And it's kind of my working title at the moment is African Philosophy and the Enlightenment. So I wanted to do a video for a while on an Ethiopian philosopher called Zero Yacob, who had a load of cool Enlightenment ideas way before any other Enlightenment philosopher and never got credit for them. So that script's been like languishing in my to film folder for a while. And then this is why I'm like a really bad at the bit of YouTubing. I only realized yesterday, oh crap, Black Panther just came out. Now would be a really good time to release this video. Like if I was Birdkeeper Toby, I would have filmed this months ago and timed it to like release on the dot as soon as Black Panther came out. So I'm going to release, I filmed it today and edited it, and I'm really proud of it. It's turned out really nicely. And that's going to be tomorrow's episode. And then I've got one on the ethics of self-driving cars, which is the first time on the show I've ever discussed the trolley problem. That's going to be a fun one. I've got that filmed and ready. That's going to like fill a gap somewhere in the schedule. What else have I got in my scripts folder? Let me open it up. I've got a couple of philosophy of YouTubes coming up. One with like philosophy of technology and stuff like that. Oh yeah. My big project at the moment is Hegel's Master and Slave Dialectic, which hopefully H-Bomb, hopefully you're going to have a cameo in that. In fact, I don't know if I've told you this yet, H-Bomb, but I'm planning to like try and make it a kind of Avengers Assemble of left tubers. So hopefully H-Bomb's going to have a cameo in it. Marina Shut Up is hopefully going to have a cameo in it. Of course, Contra, Mike Rugnetta has said that he's on board. I think there might be someone else. Maybe. Oh no, that's four. That's my big four. They've all. I've got like roles planned out for them all in it. So that I think will be really good. That's probably gonna. It's not gonna be a series, the Hegel episode. It's probably just gonna be a longer than average episode. It'll probably, looking at the script, come in somewhere between 20 minutes and half an hour. So that's gonna be cool. There's gonna be some weird stuff. There's gonna be some sex stuff. It's gonna be a laugh, and hopefully there's gonna be lots of very talented people also cameoing in it. So yeah, that's the preview of what's coming up next on the channel. Somebody says, Mike Rugnetta, I miss Idea Channel. So do I. I really miss Idea Channel. I think they're great. I think YouTube is poorer without them. But somebody else says, when are you going to make a video about the ethics of trolley? Oh, I misread. Somebody says, when are you going to make a video about the ethics of trolley problem memes? I don't know about trolley problem memes, but the video. So I've never mentioned the trolley problem on the show at all. But my video on self-driving cars is going to be about, first of all, like self-driving cars, and then the trolley problem. But then also it turns into, you're like, is the trolley problem really useful? Why do we talk about it? Is it like, what are the other ethical issues surrounding self-driving cars? And then it kind of briefly degenerates into a bit of a rant about Uber, but then ends. So that's filmed and in the bag, and will probably come out within the next month or so. Yeah. Oh yeah, I guess it's not really an Avengers Assemble. It's more of a social justice league. Yeah, that's fair enough. Somebody says, what do you think about the upcoming debate between Slavoj Žižek and Jordan Peterson? I don't know when it is, but I'm pretty sure I'm busy. No, that's harsh. The thing is, people ask me often about, like, what do you think of Žižek? And I've only read one of Žižek's books, the one on violence, which I've talked about before, which I thought was kind of all right. I've done a video on it, if you're interested. If just go to the channel and search like Žižek and you'll find it. I have a very, very only recently even heard of Jordan Peterson. I have no opinion really. So I'm probably not going to tune into it, but like, let me know how it is. Hegel Bomber Guy, why could you not have released the Hegel video last week? Because it hasn't been filmed yet, and because I'm trying to get 4 other YouTubers to cameo in it, which is like herding cats, if I'm honest. Yeah, people, I'm like, do you want to be in it? People are like, yeah. But there's not really a time limit on it, so maybe I should have set a time limit. Maybe I should have said, yes, I need your stuff by like 2 weeks' time. But everyone's keen and excited, so hopefully that'll be really, really good. Somebody says, have you seen The Good Place? I haven't. People keep going on and on and on about The Good Place. I've heard it's good. Am I right in saying that it hasn't ended yet? Because this is the thing. This is what I think about Game of Thrones as well, is that the last big series I ever got into was Lost. And I got really into it, and then it ended, and the ending was really bad. And I was like, I wish I'd never wasted my time. So now when somebody says, you really, really need to get into this, I'm like, okay, but I'm going to wait until it ends. And then you can tell me if the ending is good. Don't tell me what happens, but just tell me whether it's good. And then I'll decide whether or not I'm going to watch it. So if, like, maybe The Good Place ends and it's all a dream, and I'm like, okay, I wish I hadn't wasted my time. Maybe Game of Thrones ends and it's like, oh, Sean Bean, it was his imagination the whole time. I'm like, oh, whatever. Like, so love the porpoise says, getting left tubers together isn't like herding cats. It's like herding cat girls. I really like that. Nicely done. Ooh, somebody says, is there any philosophical book or essay written by somebody without a degree on philosophy that you think benefited from the writer's unfamiliarity with the conventions of academic philosophy? It's tough. Yeah, it's difficult to think of any examples off the back of my head. Off the top of my head. I don't know what's on the back of my head or why the examples would be there, but it's difficult to think of any off the back of my head as well. I've read a few PhD theses in the past, like people who aren't like yet well recognized as being fully qualified philosophers. And some of the PhD theses I've read have been good. Some of them haven't. I did in fact, and although I won't talk about it here, I won't name them here. I did recently read a book that's I think just come out, which is by somebody who's like trying to write a philosophy book, but who doesn't have a degree in it. And I kind of gave notes on it and helped them edit it. And I thought it had in some ways, I thought it was quite refreshing and good. And in other ways, I thought it kind of needed a bit of polish that maybe like more study in the area might have helped with. But that's an interesting question. Like, I'm not hugely in the habit of kind of paying attention to the qualifications of the people whose books I read? I suppose I shouldn't I? I don't know. I'm going to look out for that in future. I'm going to be like, what's this person's background? Because I think that's quite an interesting question. But yeah, interesting. Vsauce did the trolley problem video in December of 2017. Oh, okay, cool. I will check that out. That'll be good research. Cheers. In fact, no, I can't because I've already filmed the video and uploaded it. But I might check it out purely for my own interest. Somebody says, how do you schedule your day so you can read so much? Well, being a YouTuber as one job and being an actor as the other job, I tend to have quite a bit of time on my hands. And I also have to take tube journeys. So when I go to an audition, It's like an hour's tube journey either way because of where I live. So I do a lot of reading on the tube. Yeah, that's where I tend to do most of my reading. Actually, I don't really do much of it in the house. Yeah, like I just kind of have a bit of time on my hands because I don't do a 9 to 5. So yeah, and also I'm a quick reader, and I take notes and I highlight as I read. So yeah. Somebody says, "Can you tell us what a rhizome is?" I don't think I can. I think I used to know what a rhizome was, but I can't remember anymore. Somebody in the chat, what is a rhizome? Tell me. Somebody says Paul Mason doesn't have a degree in philosophy. Oh, that's quite interesting. I did enjoy his book on post-capitalism, which is called Post-Capitalism. I did quite enjoy that. I've got it on my shelf in there, although it's been a while since I reread it. Maybe that benefited from... I can't say whether that benefited from him not having a degree in philosophy, because I don't know what it would have been like if he did. But I found it to be generally generally well written, I think, for the time. As I say, it's been a while since I read it, so... Your Marxism video was really helpful in getting my wife to understand what he was on about. Okay, I'm glad that she's on board. Sorry, that's just kind of slightly unusually worded. Thank you, but you're very welcome. I enjoyed making it. I was very, very young when I was reading that, and really it was that series. And I had no idea, and it's since become one of my most popular ones. That series really was a voyage of discovery for me. I was kind of learning it at the same time as I was passing it on, which was an interesting experience. I'm finding the same thing with Hegel. I hadn't read much Hegel at all before this, or really kind of dived into it. And one thing I found really useful in preparing this Hegel video is Gregory Sadler's series on YouTube about Hegel. He goes through the phenomenology of spirit paragraph by paragraph, explaining every single bit. So I just watched hours of his stuff to try and prepare for this. So the video I've got on Hegel is it explains the master and slave dialectic, and then it sort of explains dialectics, and then it takes the master and slave dialectic and applies it to identity politics and tries to understand modern political movements through the lens of Hegel. And then goes into criticizing Hegel and has Franz Fanon and black nationalism and some stuff about that towards the end. So that's going to be fun. I think that's going to be a really cool video. It's one of those ones where I'm like, ooh, I hope I haven't got something really wrong, because it's one of those ones, again, where I'm sort of learning and passing it on at the same time. So I hope that the Hegel video is going to be cool, and I hope that you all like it. Why is Hegel a meme within the philosophy community? I guess because he's really hard. He's really, really tough. And also because he did influence a lot of people. And now that I can't claim to understand all of Hegel by any means, but now that I understand the master and slave dialectic, I'm like, oh, okay, that's quite cool. I can see how that works and how that applies. So that's fun. Yeah. Philosophy isn't an A-level in Wales. That's bullshit. You should complain. That's a shame that you can't do philosophy at A-level in Wales. Huh. I'm sorry, Wales. You're being deprived. I'm sorry to hear that. Is there a fire behind you? That flashing orange light looks like one. It's a candle. I put out some candles. Candlelight. I thought it would be nice. Relaxing, you know? Somebody says, and they're very determined to ask it, what is the relevance of the political center in today's politics? I don't know. I don't even know what the political center is. That sounds like an H-bomb question to me. I'm not even sure I understand what the political center as a concept is anymore. I mean, who gets to define it? I'm not sure. Somebody says, isn't Hegel where Marx got his dialectics? I think Marx had important criticisms of it and was trying to say, yes, but no, not really, and sort of run with it. But yeah. That reminds me, actually, I saw a play a while ago at the Bridge Theatre. It's called Young Marx, which was, funnily enough, about the young Marx, who was played by Rory Kinnear, who's one of Britain's sort of top tier actors. And Oliver Chris was Engels, who I thought was absolutely bloody brilliant. And yeah, it was very, very funny and included all kinds of silly jokes about Hegel and also jokes about sort of Marxism, because the play was written in such a way that you didn't have to know Marx or have to have read him in order to sort of understand what was going on. It was very much more about the kind of human drama of his life, but there were occasionally like cheeky jokes. So there was me and one other guy in the audience who would clearly like who like really knew got all of the jokes, and maybe more people got them, but just were shyer about laughing about them. So me and one other guy were like ha! Every 5 minutes. Yeah, it was really good. In fact, Oliver Chris as Engels has this fantastic monologue in the middle of the play where Marx is like, I can't pay the butcher and I'm broke and my wife is making eyes at other men. Like, what am I going to do? I'm totally brutalized. And Engels has this brilliant monologue. He's like, you are not brutalized. Go to Manchester. Then you'll see brutalized. A yard from where Mary lives, there is a courtyard. I have never seen such a concentration of degradation, sickness, and filth. 50 families, one toilet, and the yard flows with piss and shit, human shit. And and the kids play in this filth barefoot. The children of these kids are not there. No, they're in the mill all day, every day, utterly consumed by a task which is regimented and repetitive. The noise is constant. They can't hear another human voice. They are brutalized. And unlike you, they have no choices and no prospect of escape except death. And if you'd ever set foot inside a mill or a manufactory, you wouldn't dare use the word brutalized to describe your own life, you solipsistic, self-regarding prick. It's a brilliant monologue. I love it. And the reason I learned it is because I did it in an audition a while ago. And I got the role that I was auditioning. I didn't get that role, but I got the role that I was auditioning for. So, yeah, cheers to the writers of Young Marx and to Oliver Chris for that truly inspiring piece of drama, because it's brilliantly written. Maybe I'll do the whole thing for you some other time. Yeah. Oh, I've been watching a lot of you, Sean, Contra, and H-Bomb. I was wondering if there are any other YouTubers you would recommend now that Idea Channel is over. Ooh, well, I tend, and long-term fans of my show will know this, I tend to put YouTube on in the background whilst I'm cooking. So I don't really tend to watch an awful lot of it. You've got my sort of, how could I forget? Marina Shut Up makes good videos. I really like Marina. She does really cracking stuff. It's sort of very easy, very digestible, really good videos. Go and check her out. Marina Shut Up. It's all one word. Yeah, go and check that out. I mean, it depends what you like. And also, I would just recommend, like, my friends. Of course, Lindsay Ellis, if you like sort of film theory. I'm learning a lot about film theory from her work. And Dan Olson, obviously. That's Dan Olson, who does Foldable Ideas is the channel. He does a lot of cool stuff about film theory and also all kinds of stuff. Like, yeah, I'm really learning a lot from those two, because I like, now that acting is my job, I really like sort of learning about how the sausage is made. He does lots of cool stuff about editing, which I'd never really paid much attention to, but which I now, having seen his videos, notice a lot more. So yeah, Marina Shut Up, Lindsay Ellis, Dan Olson, they're all really good. I've seen a few Cat Black videos and enjoyed them, so I kind of need to check their channel out a bit more. Yeah, those would be my go-to if I'm kind of cooking up. I was watching some Sean tonight while I was cooking my beans, so cheers, Sean, for that. Oh, somebody's already a fan of Marina. Cool. Pop Culture Detective has some good ones. Yeah, I've seen a couple of those videos. I quite like them. I like the one, I've never seen The Big Bang Theory, but I quite liked their take on The Big Bang Theory. And they had another one recently, which I've forgotten. But yeah, I'll occasionally tune into that, you know. Oh yeah, Dan Olson's video on Triumph of the Will and propaganda. That is real good. I think that was one of the things that inspired me to make my video about propaganda as well. But yeah, Dan's real good. Dan knows what he's doing. Yeah, these are all like far better YouTubers than me. Somebody says, how much of your interests in theatre and philosophy informed each other to make Philosophy Tube? Oh, I really don't know. See, I made Philosophy Tube before I became a professional actor. I've been doing Philosophy Tube for almost 5 years now. And I've been acting my whole life, but I became a professional actor last year. well, I spent like year before really when I started training, but now, I mean, it depends what you think philosophy tube is. I don't think philosophy tube is like static and monolithic. I think it changes and will continue to change. The style in which I do the videos and the kind of videos I make will change. Tonally, I think it's always had a similarity. It's always, I've tried to make it always sort of curious and open-hearted, rather than, and this isn't getting critical of anybody who does this, it's just not my style. I've tried to make it open-hearted rather than kind of taking anyone down or tearing anyone down. So you'll notice if you go through my videos that when I say, like, when I'm talking about stuff that other people have said which is negative, I tend not to provide specific examples, especially if they're another YouTuber, because it's just not what I'm here to do. I've talked about that before. So I think there's a tone and I hope a love and a spirit that remains the same, but the style and the content will adapt and change as I go on. Certainly, it's gotten a little more theatrical recently. Part of that is, I suppose, my interest in theatre. So my series, Are You Rational? Episode 3 of Are You Rational? If you've seen it, has me in all those different costumes, playing all those different characters, which is fun. Part of that is my interest in theatre. Part of it is watching people like H-Bomb and Contra and realizing what can be done with YouTube as a medium. So I'm kind of very much following on. I'm standing on the shoulders of giants when I do stuff like that, really. The Hegel video I've got coming up, I'm planning to do something quite different with the opening of it that I've not done before. That's, I suppose, kind of a piece of theatre-ish. Yeah. Well, it's meant to be anyway. Well, how seriously you or I take it will depend on what comes out. But yeah, I suppose my love of acting and theatre is informing it more and more. I had an audition. This is my biggest fear. Finally came true. I had an audition yesterday, and I was sitting outside the audition room, and I heard the channel trailer playing from inside the room, and I was like, "Oh, I found it!" And I went into the audition, and the director and the assistant director were there, and they said, "We've just been watching your YouTube channel," and I was like, "Oh yeah, have you? What do you think?" And they were like, "Yeah, it's really cool and really interesting." And we chatted about it for a while, and I was saying, "Oh, you know, some actors work in a bar, some actors teach English as a foreign language or work front of house in theatres. I have YouTube; it's my job." And they sort of asked about it and asked about why I started it, and yeah, it's really interesting. It's come up in a couple of auditions actually. One time I brought it up, and this time they had already found it because it is on my kind of actors. There's this thing we have called Spotlight, which is the main casting website in the UK. It's a link to my YouTube is on there, and on my like currently appearing in section. So yeah. I haven't heard back from that audition. We'll see. But if I don't get it, who knows? It's not like that. You know, maybe it'll be, if I don't get it, it might be because I do YouTube, or it might be because they didn't like my acting or didn't want me. So we shall see. I'm just checking my actors. See, unfortunately on this occasion we won't be taking your application any further. There you go. Have to get used to that kind of thing as an actor. There you go. It's the live drama of the live stream, isn't it? Just found out in real time. Well, if it is because of YouTube, then I blame all of you. No, not really. Yeah. Let's see what people are saying in the chat. Somebody says, I'm thinking about getting acting lessons, not because I want them, but because I need them. Everyone says I've got a poker face. Well, maybe you should take up poker. Maybe you should take up poker and then win and pay for acting lessons. I don't know. Are you going to do a review of Peter Coffin's Custom Reality and You? No, I'm not. Partly, well, no, I'm not. I'm not going to review that because I don't really do book reviews. So yeah. Somebody says your Scottish accent wasn't that bad, by the way. Well, I hope it wouldn't be. I did live in Scotland for 4 years, so yeah, I hope I could do a decent enough Scottish accent for my own, for English people anyway. For English ears, I know that to Scottish people it would it wouldn't pass. Huh, somebody says that standing on the shoulders of people like H-Bomb Sean and Contra is funny because they watch my videos before getting into them. Well, hey, that's really kind of you. I'm glad that I was able to introduce them to you. And I'm glad that their audience has found me through them sometimes as well. So, yeah, that's really cool. Somebody says, "Why is your massive chest sticking out of your shirt?" Because my shirt is too small. I expect that'll be the main reason. Yeah. In philosophy classes, is there a swear jar for whenever somebody says Heidegger is a boozy beggar? That's a reference to the Monty Python philosophy song, I know. And no, there wasn't a swear jar in any of my philosophy classes. My philosophy teacher was a very chill dude, Howard. Ooh. Somebody else is recommending Cat Black. Cool. Yeah, I need to check that out. Somebody says, how much was your first acting paycheck for? I think the first professional acting job I ever... Well, it depends. Do you count extras work? Because we're not supposed to. But I think the first acting job I ever did, I think I was an extra in an ITV show. That was under my old name before I became a professional actor and had to change my name. I think they gave me like 60 quid for the day, which is probably less actually, but it was pretty decent. You know, they gave me lunch as well. I did a little bit of extras work for ITV and BBC, and I can tell you that ITV do better lunches than the BBC. And but I suppose my first professional acting job after drama school was it was a modelling. It was a live modelling job actually. That's live modelling, not life modelling, which is different. It was a live modelling job, kind of an immersive event, and I got 70 quid for that, which was not a lot. And then I've done some voiceover work since then, and some more modelling, and then I've recently been cast in something else, which is theatre, which I've already mentioned. I can't talk about just now, but will at some future stage, and which, if you're in London, you will probably hear about, if not see. Somebody says, "What is your zodiac sign?" I mean, insofar as any of them exist and mean anything, which is not at all, I'm a Taurus because my birthday is April the 24th. I don't know why it took me a moment to remember it, but my birthday is the 24th of April, which is a great time to have a birthday. Nice spring baby. So, yeah, Taurus. I'm just scrolling through all of your fun messages in the chat here. Huh. What an interesting story. Wes says, I'm American. I graduated with a bachelor's degree in English 2 years ago. My goal was to teach at university level, but liberal arts are on their way out. I now farm vegetables. That's really cool. That's a really cool thing to do. Should I go back and try to teach in the EU? Ooh, I don't know. I don't know how easy it is to find jobs at teaching in a university, because I've never tried to do it. But if you want to, if it's what you want to do, man, you know, you could look into it. I know that it's very difficult to get a visa to stay and work in this country at the moment, and it's only getting harder because sadly, my best friend had to leave the country last year and go back to his place of birth because he was. I thought it was very, very cruel. I won't mention the publication that he worked for, but he was a theatre reviewer, and he did a lot of reviews, unpaid, for this publication, and then he eventually became their reviews editor, also unpaid. And I think the implication was that at some stage they'd be able to get him a paid job, which is what he needed to stay in the UK, because you can only stay for a certain amount of time without work if you're not a student. So he graduated, and then you can only stay for a certain number of days before you have to leave. And they sold him up the creek and said, we're not giving you a job after all that unpaid work he'd done, all the money he'd made for them, and he had to leave the country. And you know, not a day goes by that I don't miss my best mate Ben. and I am full of joy whenever he comes back to the UK. And my girlfriend too is American, and has got her letter from the Home Office that has the date on when she has to leave if she doesn't find a job. Which, as an actor, we don't get steady employment. So, yeah, it's tough. It's very tough, even for Americans. So, it's up to you, man. I can't tell you what you should and shouldn't do with your life, but it ain't going to be easy. I wish it was. Yeah. I'm still reading through all of your. Somebody says unpaid editor. Yeah. Like, so all the reviewers would send in their theatre reviews, and it was his job to edit and collate them, and he did it all totally unpaid. Somebody says hello from Brazil. Hello to Brazil. I've never been. I don't know why, but I get a lot of fan messages from Brazil. I don't know whether it's because I have a lot of fans in Brazil or because the fans I do have in Brazil are particularly vocal about telling me hello. But hello, if you're watching from Brazil. I bet it's beautiful down there. The furthest south I've ever been isn't even to South America. I got to Belize in Central America once and loved it. But yeah, hi if you're in Brazil. And massive thank you if you're one of the amazing people who keeps translating my videos into Brazilian Portuguese and putting the subtitles on them. That's really awesome of you. So thanks. Thanks a lot. Hi, Brazil. How you doing? Somebody says, Ollie Madison says, how old are you? I think my cousin might have been in your year at school. I'm 24. So tell your cousin. Do bear in mind, though, that my name that you all know me by, Oliver Thorne, my professional name, is not the name I was born under. So if you're looking for like school records and so on, you won't find them under that name. I had to change my name when I became an actor. In order to join the Actors Union, you can't have the same name as somebody else. So it's kind of stop you pinching their royalties, basically. So you can't have the same name as somebody else, and you also can't have a name that's too similar to somebody else. So you couldn't become an actor and call yourself like Leonardo DiCaprio or like Robert De Niro. You couldn't do it. And there was already somebody who had like my name but one letter different, so I had to change it. So yeah. Somebody ever says, will you ever make philosophy work, like writing a book with your own thesis and your own arguments? I do occasionally slip a little bit of my own stuff into videos. So the end of the Are You Rational series, that bit about art, was kind of not entirely me, but that was sort of my decision to put that in there and structure it in that way and talk about it like that. I am in talks. I was it for a while in talks with an agent about doing a book. I'm not at this moment in time. I reserve the right to change my mind. I'm not entirely convinced because they wanted me to write Philosophy Tube, the book, and I'm not entirely convinced that would work. I don't think that what I could do would really translate into print well because it's just going to be me summarizing what other people have said, and you could just go and read them. And yes, I know there's something to be said for being able to do that clearly and effectively, which people apparently think I can do. But I'm not really convinced that Philosophy Tube, the book, would work. And I've been more convinced of that recently because I've read a YouTuber's book. I helped edit a YouTuber's book, or kind of gave them notes on it recently. I won't say who. And I could tell the bits where they were trying to like write their YouTube channel in the book. And I was like, if I tried to do this, I don't think it would work. So I don't know. I'm not actively currently on this date pursuing any plans to write a book about philosophy. I may do at some point in the future. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, we shall see. Biscuit time. Yeah, so somebody says the YouTube format suits you well. Writing a book would restrict the explanatory freedom you have in video format. I agree. I don't think it would work. I think also there's something about tone of voice that which is important in the way I do my videos and the way a lot of people do their videos, which doesn't quite translate into print. Somebody says, I just finished baking a loaf of sourdough bread made with wild yeast. Should I upload a picture? Oh, you're Wes. You're the vegetable farmer. Cool. Well, you could do. I don't know whether my internet can handle it. It can barely handle this. So you can upload a picture if you like. Feel free. Maybe tweet it to me. That'd be cool. Somebody says, talk about your taste in music. This really frustrates me. My favorite band in the world is not the question. I'm telling you this story now. This is the thing that frustrated me. My favorite band in the world is a band called Hey Ocean, which I believe hardly ever plays together anymore. There were three members. One of them was in London recently. I didn't know, but I saw a friend of mine who's an actor, Johnny, tweeted, "Oh, I've just been to see David Beckingham play live in London at this cafe," and I was like, "What?" I messaged him. I was like, "What? How have you seen him live? Like, what? How have you got to see this guy? I would give my left arm to see Hey Ocean play live. Like, and I would give like a third of my left arm to see a third of Hey Ocean play live." And he was like, "Oh yeah, Hannah, my girlfriend, knows him." And he messaged her that he was coming over for just a couple of days to play and said we should come. And I was like, "Oh, I'm so jealous that you got to see them. I've wanted for years to see them live." And I've even tried to get like their merch and their shirts, and they're all sold out because I don't think the band really plays anymore. It serves me right for having hipster taste in music. But my favorite band in the world is Hey Ocean, and I love them. I think they're great. They really calm me down. Somebody says, do a general overview of philosophy. Yeah, it's kind of what I'm doing. I've been doing it for nearly 5 years now. I'm just... Somebody says, what about a Platonic style philosophy play? Well, it's funny you should mention that because it isn't Platonic. That's for those of you who can't see what's written down, they mean Platonic as in to do with Plato, not Platonic as in the opposite of romantic. I have in fact written a play, which is kind of about political philosophy, that a friend of mine who's a director and I are working towards getting a rehearsed reading done in London and hopefully trying to get it up somewhere. Getting a theatre show put on in London is a slow process, as is creating one. So to have to do them back to back is challenging. But yeah, I have written a play. It is informed by philosophy. The earlier drafts were kind of basically just an essay, but now it has a cool story that I'm pretty pleased with. So watch this space. Somebody says Michael Keaton's real name is Michael Douglas. Really? Isn't Michael Douglas someone else? That's probably why, if it is true. Yeah, a lot of actors have to change their names. Some of them change their names because it's like a better screen name. Historically, some actors changed their names because they were Jewish and didn't want to have like in days when anti-Semitism was a lot more public, they didn't want to kind of have that link. Some actors don't have to change their names, which, you know, lucky them. A few people that I was on a course on my training course with didn't have to, but chose to anyway. And I had to, and also found it to be quite liberating, actually, and quite a beautiful thing. It's quite odd to choose your own name. I had to sort of think about practical considerations, like how people are going to be able to spell it and pronounce it and so on. And like, does it reflect me, and is it who I want to be? And I initially chose it, and since then, every day that I've had it, I've just thought, yeah, it's more and more me. And now every time somebody says, "Oh, hey, Mr. Thorne," or "Hey, you're Oliver Thorne," I'm like, "Yeah, I am. That's me." So yeah. Which of ContraPoint's characters is your favorite? All of them. All of them except the Nazi one, obviously. Less fond of the Nazi one. But yeah, they're all good. Do you see a psychiatrist? No. Should I tell you that? Is it too much to tell you that? Is it? I suppose. Why should it be? I suppose I shouldn't be ashamed of that. I'm on the waiting list to see somebody, not a psychiatrist. I'm on the waiting list to see a therapist about some stuff that happened to me last year. Nothing too serious, but I suppose I shouldn't be ashamed of that sort of thing. You know, that sort of shame and reserve breeds stigma. Yeah. What they've told me is that most people in their lives need to see a therapist at some point. So there's the answer to that. I'm feeling very vulnerable, so I'm going to have a bite of this biscuit. Hello from Canada, somebody says. Hello to Canada. I have relatives in Canada. It's beautiful. Congratulations on living there. Hello from Alaska. Oh, wow. I bet it's gorgeous out there. I retired at 50. I'm now 56. I live alone. I'm a blacksmith on the side. That's so cool. And I grow mushrooms for fun. You're a blacksmith in Alaska? That's incredible. That's the coolest thing I've ever heard. I mean, not only are you a blacksmith, which is already really cool, you're a blacksmith in Alaska. You're an awesome person. What is it? Wild Billock. Wild Billock, yeah. You rule. I'm not a big fan of mushrooms, but I'll let you off because blacksmithing. Is there a lot of demand for blacksmiths in Alaska? A lot of people need like horseshoes made or like armor fitted. I don't know. That's so cool. Somebody says your accent wouldn't translate into the book. Unless I wrote it phonetically, I suppose, which would just be a pain in the ass for everyone. Hello from the Toon, says Grace Brown. Get in. Get in. I'm going back to the Toon in March. Yeah, I'm heading back for 5 days. I'm going home. I miss it. I need to go back. Been in London too long. I'm going to go home and hang out with my mum and dad. It's going to be class. Hello from Tunisia. I study English literature and civilization. Wow, cool. That's really, really awesome. And hello from Manchester. Wow, it is really cool that like people from all over the world watch my stuff. Hello from Iceland. Oh, so cool. People from and Finland, people from really beautiful places are watching this live stream. Hello to all of you. Of course, I can't verify that any of you are from any of the places you're saying. You could well say hello from Venus and I wouldn't have any, I would have no more evidence. But great. Welcome. And from Kansas. Cool. Very cool. From Tasmania? Are you making this up? Are you all making this up? I've never been to Tasmania, but I bet it's great. I know they make really good wine in Tasmania. And the Tasmanian devil is from there. Hello from Korea, from Serbia, from Illinois. I mean, again, I have no idea whether you're really from those places, but there you go. Please don't eat near the microphone. Sorry. I've finished my biscuits. Don't worry. No more. Did you get any threats from the alt-right for your videos? Some threats, yeah. Occasionally, very occasionally. I've had one or two threats. It doesn't have to be a threat to be hurtful. Something I've said before to a few people, YouTubers especially, is that I don't know what it's like for others, but I can get 100 nasty comments or people mentioning me in other videos or taking pot shots and so on. I get 100 of them and it bounces off, and then with nothing remarkable about the 101st, it'll just be the one that gets through and makes me sad. So it doesn't have to be threats to be sort of thoroughly unpleasant, but I'm generally pretty good at taking care of myself and my own joy when it comes to that sort of thing. So if I know that people do make videos, absolutely opposing me, I'm sure. I generally don't watch them. I've seen one or two and didn't find them constructive or helpful. So generally I don't, and I take good care of myself. I am not ashamed to use the mute button occasionally, especially on twitter.com. It's by far their best feature, other than just turning it off. So, yeah, I generally take pretty good care of myself. I do occasionally get threats and other negative stuff, which is obviously less than pleasant and which I shouldn't have to deal with. But I do okay. Thank you for asking. And I do much better than comparable creators who aren't cishet white people. So, cishet white guys in particular. There you go. Somebody says shipping ensues. This is about which ContraPoints character. So people want to know which ContraPoints character to ship me with, of course. I don't have a favorite. I mean, go wild. Ship away. Let your ships set sail. If that's what you're into. I don't want to piss on anyone's chips. If someone's really got an Ollie X Abigail Cockbane or an Ollie X whatever, then just go for it. I don't mind. It's all equally odd and lovely and sweet. Oh wow, this is really cool. Somebody says just because people are talking about choosing your own names. Somebody says it's the best part of the trans experience, and as a trans person, choosing a name is a difficult process. You know, I never thought of comparing it to that. I suppose I wasn't going through as big a change in the way other people perceived me as all that. But yeah, I never thought to compare. I should have asked for someone's advice. Somebody says, "Why did you choose Thorn?" So I wrote down. I've got my. I did have a big list of all the possible choices I had. I wrote a whole bunch of different options down, and in the end, I narrowed it down to 2. And I won't tell you what the other one was because it wasn't as good. But in the end, I went for Thorn because it's easy to spell. If I say it out loud, people know how to spell it, which is really good. It's memorable, and it just fit. I just sort of liked it. And funnily enough, a lot of people who I've told it to have said, that really suits you. That's a really good name. Your parents chose well. And I was like, they didn't choose it. I did. But yeah. Yeah, I really, really liked it. So I decided to have that. Somebody says, will we ever get to read the play that you wrote? I don't know if you'd ever get to read it, but if it's ever on in London, believe me, I'll let you know. Hopefully it will be on in London. So I'm in a play at the moment, which is going to be a real big thing in London. I can't talk about it now, but I will mention it either on Twitter or on the channel at some stage. So if you're in London around the end of March, I'm going to be in something that a lot of people are going to see. As I said earlier on, the live audience is going to be something like between 10 and 20,000, and it's going to be broadcast on TV, I think nationwide, possibly internationally. So that's kind of cool. I'm very, very lucky to be in that, and very, very lucky to have a major role in that. So I will tell you about that closer to the time. If my play ever goes up, again, believe me, I'll let you know, and I'll invite you all. I probably won't be able to give you all comp tickets, but if my play has ever been performed in London, I'll definitely let you know. Yeah. Wait, I'm trying to scroll back through there. Somebody says, "Do you read the webcomic Existential Comics?" Yeah, sometimes I dip in and out. I find the jokes quite fun. So, what biscuits are you munching on? They were dark chocolate digestives. Yeah, there you go. I don't know what synth wave is, so I can't tell you what I think of it. Sorry. I'm just scrolling down through the chat now. Oh, Oh, it skipped a whole bunch. Someone's uploaded pictures of bread. Cool. Cool. Ooh, what's your favorite fiction, book, novel, author? Um, Mary Shelley's The Last Man is my favorite novel. Yeah, I love that. I think it's excellent. Shakespeare, big fan of. Not really a novel, obviously. But yeah, Mary Shelley's The Last Man is my favorite novel. It's gorgeous. I've talked about it before on live streams. But yeah, yeah. Mm. Somebody says, good luck with your play. Thank you very, very much. Thank you. I'm really excited about it. And so is my friend who's the director. There you go. How do I deal with my workload? I mean, I don't want to be flippant because I don't know like what it is, but maybe you shouldn't be watching the stream. I don't know. There you go. People are now discussing which ContraPoints character specifically to ship me with. Does that work? Because I'm not a character. Well, maybe I am. Maybe I am. Maybe we all are. But I don't really play a character on Philosophy Tube. So does that work? Can I be shipped with a fictional character? I don't know. Answers on a postcard, please. Tabby seems to be a popular one. How is activism viewed in the UK? Do you partake in demonstrations and such? I mean, it depends whose activism, I guess. Some activism is viewed very positively, some negatively. I'm occasionally to be found at the odd demonstration when I have time. In fact, a while ago, I was at a demonstration and got recognised. A journalist hopped the barrier and came up to me and said he liked my work. So that was quite surprising. I was like, oh, okay. Let's go back to holding my sign now. Yeah. So yes, occasionally. Somebody says you look a bit like the Prime Minister of Canada. Yep, I've heard that one before. I only found out the other day that he also used to have a goatee. So I thought that was my one distinguishing feature, but it seems that Trudeau also used to have that as well. So, oh well. Hello from New Zealand. Oh, so jealous. Love New Zealand. Beautiful. Been there twice. Spent a couple of months there a few years ago because my brother used to live there. So jealous. I love it. Great scuba diving, great wildlife, great people, great food. Love New Zealand so much. Would love to go back. Must go back someday. Will go back someday. I'm from Switzerland. Also beautiful. Somebody says hello from inside your head. Hello. That's what I would say to that. Hello from nowhere. Hello from New Brunswick, Canada. Hello from Bavaria in Germany. Somebody says dab. I'm afraid I don't know how. Somebody says, have you read any Marxist works? Yes, Marx, among others. So yes, I have. In fact, it's not in there, but I have a copy of Das Kapital at home in Newcastle. Yeah. Hello from Vermont. Nice. Lots of cheese in Vermont, as far as I'm aware. And from Sweden. Somebody says hello from Elon Musk's orbiting Tesla. Hello to you in the space car. Let me go down to the bottom and see what happens. Oh, somebody says, have you read any Richard Dawkins books? Yeah, I read The God Delusion when I was a kid. When I was, I don't know when that came out, but I can't have been more than 14. Probably younger. Yeah, I read it. Remember it being illuminating at the time because I was like fairly young and hadn't really had those thoughts before, and remember thinking differently of it later. But for a while, yeah, liked it. I made a video a while ago about my kind of Dawkins Hitchens phase, which I still get negative comments on. But yeah, I did read it. I did read that. Not read any of the others. Hmm. Somebody says, "Do you vote?" Yeah, when given the opportunity. I actually voted in the Scotland independence referendum. I won't tell you which way I voted before you ask, uh, because I was living in Scotland at the time, and so I've been living there for like 3 years. So I got to vote in that. So that was interesting. Um, hmm. how many how many neoliberals does it take to screw in a light bulb? None. The light bulb needs to pull itself up by its bootstraps and take personal responsibility for not being screwed in. Very good. Very well done. Good. Well done to you. Um, mm. Mm, mm, mm. Somebody says you are a character, Ollie. Well, thank you. The definition of character is something that gives the illusion of being human. So, I suppose, aren't we all? Previously a fan of your guns, now a fan of the background's sensual, candlelit, natural wood-looking window treatment. Well, you are very welcome to be a fan of both, should you wish. Yeah, I'm just kind of keeping the windows blinds drawn so you can't see like cars going past outside. Is the main reason. But I'm glad you like the hashtag aesthetic that's going on here. Yeah. Is that how digestives is pronounced? I've always said it digestives. Um, no, it's digestives. I've never heard anyone pronounce it digestives. Oh, somebody's defined synthwave. Synthwave is an electronic music genre inspired by movie soundtracks and other synth music from the 1980s with higher production quality and sometimes heavier synth and bass. That sounds like it would be really up my street. That sounds cool. I sometimes use stuff like that for the background of my videos. Yeah, yeah, sounds good. Have you accidentally plugged in a potato instead of a webcam? Thank God the sound is beautifully clear. See, I'm sorry. I've got this new webcam. I was hoping it would clean things up a bit, but I think it's just my internet. I think because I live in an area that doesn't have good internet. Really, my internet's pretty slow and is provided by monkeys, by shaven monkeys. And yeah, I just think it's well, maybe it's your internet. Maybe it's your problem. What about that? Maybe you need to take personal responsibility for your internet. No, yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry about that. I hope that it's clearer for everyone else. Would you ever consider debating the alt right on YouTube? No, not really. I don't. You will have noticed I don't debate people on YouTube. I used to debate live. I used to go to debating society at my old university. Didn't really get a lot out of it. Found it to be a little performative. Didn't really feel that anything was much accomplished. It seemed more for sport, and I don't think that on those particular issues that I could really treat it as sport. So yeah, just kind of not really interested, to be honest. And that's a personal reason, quite aside from the whole discussion about who do we give platforms to and who should spread what messages and so on. So yeah, just kind of not really interested, I'm afraid. Please come to Brazil. I'd love to. I'd love to come to Brazil. If I had all the money in the world, I would. That would be great. Can you do a backflip? No. Do you support Newcastle's football team? If pushed, if somebody says you've got to pick a team, then it's going to be the Toon. My parents used to take me to see Newcastle United when I was a kid, and I didn't have. Nobody knew then that I needed glasses, so I used to just read a book in the stands. So no, I don't really support them actively. I couldn't tell you what league we're in or how we're doing. But I will occasionally watch it. I've got mates who are Geordies in in London, and occasionally we'll watch the match. Very occasionally, just to see each other really more than anything else. Yeah. Have you ever regretted reading a book? I mean, I've read some pretty bad books. I wouldn't say I regret. In fact, the worst philosophy book I've ever read, I didn't regret reading because I was like, oh, wow, this is all bollocks. I'm glad I've suddenly realized that. Not all of it, but yeah. It was Sam Harris's The End of Faith, if you're curious. I can say that because I've mentioned it on the channel before. But I read it and was like, I need to sort of reassess what I think. And that ended up being a turning point for me. And it was also at that time in my life a turning point for various other reasons. So I don't know if I regretted reading that. I don't know. I've read some pretty bad books, but I'm not sure if I can think of any off the top of my head that I regret reading. Ooh, somebody says, what's your favorite play? Ooh, tough one. I mean, I do love my Shakespeare, and my favorite Shakespeare of the ones that I've read is still Julius Caesar. I saw Julius Caesar at the Bridge Theatre a couple of weeks ago, which has Ben Whishaw as Brutus in, and I thought it was quite good. I quite liked it. It's getting some controversy surrounding it because the staging is quite aggressive. So they get the people who would ordinarily be sitting in the cheap seats, which was me and the person I was with, to be the mob and be the crowd, and the actors sort of move in around you and run past you. Ben Whishaw nearly knocked me to the ground at one point, and I stepped out of his way just in time. And also the stage is being raised and lowered around the actors, so every now and then the stage crew have to come in and be like, get out of the way, move, and it really kind of breaks up the action, and it gets like dark and quite dangerous at times, I thought. So it's getting some controversy for the kind of the way that they've decided to stage it. And also I read a really good thing a while ago that was about somebody was saying it's a play about what happens when like the mob is given control, and they're doing that, but at the same time they're like trying to create the mob, but at the same time very tightly controlling how the audience moves. So I think the person who the review I read, and it kind of nicely expressed what I had latently thought about it, was that it was sort of going against itself, really. Oh, and also my girlfriend, who's a brilliant actor and a genius, said this, and I was like, oh wow, that's so good. Because they used guns instead of swords. It was kind of a modern production, especially in the assassination scene where they all just like shot Caesar. And she said that guns don't work in Shakespeare, or they don't work in Julius Caesar, because the whole point of Julius Caesar is that the reason there are so many assassins is that they all have tiny knives that they have to hide, because you have to hide the tiny knife, and you have to get really, really close to him and like look him in the eyes and kill him. And that's what makes it so difficult. Whereas if you can just from across the room, you don't need like 15 assassins, and you also kind of don't even need to really look at him. You don't really need to have the visceral bodily guilt and the blood on your hands that it requires. So yeah, those things aside, it was an excellent production. I really loved it. Somebody says, can you come to America sometime? Yes, I will at some stage. I do want to. I was planning on coming to VidCon this year. Probably that's not going to happen because of this big role I've been offered. Means I'm going to be performing when VidCon is going to be happening. Probably. I haven't signed the contract for that one yet. But yeah, sad. I was really looking forward to it as well. I really wanted to meet. I really wanted to meet Lindsay Ellis and Dan Olsen and obviously someone else. Yeah, so probably I won't be at VidCon this year, which is a shame. But I've got to work. I've got to be an actor, and I've got to be on stage, man. So I love it. Any tips for a philosophy degree? Oh yeah, Do the week 1 reading in Freshers Week. Do the week 2 reading in week 1. Do the week 3 reading in week 2, and so on and so on and so on. Yeah, that's the way you get a week ahead from everyone else. It's really good. I'm probably going to do like 15 more minutes of this stream, guys. So if you got any more questions, feel free to chuck them in the chat, and I'll see if I can get to them. There was one up there about bourbon, which I just skipped over, but oh, somebody says King Lear is my favorite Shakespeare. Yeah, Lear's good. I saw Lear at the Globe a while ago, and it's an interesting one, Lear, because I've seen it a couple of times. I saw it at the Barbican, which is a very big theatre, and the actor playing Lear had to be so loud just to be heard at the back that in the famous storm scene where if you don't know King Lear, he sort of goes a bit wild and has this huge rant in a storm, and it's very loud. Because he had to be so loud at the start just to be heard, he had nowhere to go when he did the storm scene, and so he was just kind of loud again. And it was uncut, and it was about 3.5 hours long. Although I met a professor of Shakespeare a while ago who says that if you can do any Shakespeare play uncut in 2:45 if you do it properly, but that's by the by. And then I saw it again at the Globe, but it was much better because I think Lear works better in a smaller venue because Lear can be more intimate and more. You can see the vulnerability of like an older man beginning to lose his grip on things much more clearly from up close, which is why I think it works quite well on film as well. The King Lear with Ian McKellen, if you get the chance to see that film, it's pretty good. Yeah. Somebody says, do you eat tomatoes? No, don't really like them. Don't really like them raw. I'll have them on pizza or in pasta, but I don't really like them raw. Yeah. Somebody says they regretted reading The Lord of the Rings. Why? I quite like The Lord of the Rings. I haven't read them in a while. No, Christopher Lee, I think, reads them every year. Apparently. Do you drink bourbon in your study when you ponder other philosophies? No, because I don't have any study and I don't have any bourbon. Sorry. How many books have you read? I don't know. I never thought of keeping track. Probably quite a few. Many. I don't know. Not as many as I'm going to. And yeah, hopefully I'll read many more. People are arguing about Ayn Rand in the chat. Who's your favorite contemporary playwright? Tough, very tough. I haven't seen them all, and I keep seeing brilliant stuff. There's a lot of really awesome stuff being made at the moment. So, Kieran Knowles wrote a play a while ago called 31 Hours, which was amazing. It was about male suicide and masculinity. Love that. I think it's Peter Morris wrote a play called The Age of Consent, which was 2 interweaving monologues, which I really like. Yeah, there's a lot of great stuff being done at the moment. Yeah. People still arguing about Ayn Rand. Would you rather be attacked by 1 T-Rex-sized chicken or 100 chicken-sized T-Rexes? I want to go for the giant chicken because I think it's going to be easier to hide. I think chicken-sized T-Rexes. I don't know. I don't know how intelligent T-Rexes are or were, but I feel like death by 100 tiny T-Rexes would be worse, more painful. Whereas giant chicken, probably going to be pretty quick if it gets you right. And I'm more confident about my ability to hide from and potentially like distract or outwit or even scare a giant chicken. So I'm going to go with a giant chicken. Yeah. Have you ever thought about growing your hair really long? I do need to grow it out at the moment for a role. If I grow it out much longer than this, the ends of it start to like curl up and it just gets really sort of wavy. It doesn't grow straight. So maybe, but I do need to grow my hair and beard out for a role I'm doing at the moment. Yeah. Oh, somebody says thoughts on the Black Panther movie. Hey, I can cross that off. That means there's only one thing left on live stream bingo. But yes, I saw Black Panther yesterday. I really liked it. I enjoyed it a lot, and the further I get from having seen it, the more I am into it. The more I think, yeah, that's a work of art. I really enjoyed seeing it, and it made me. It seemed like a real cut above the other Marvel movies. Yeah, it made me think a lot. Love the soundtrack, love the design. I really like the story. Loved Killmonger as a villain. I won't spoil it or anything. Don't worry. Yeah, I really made me thoughtful. So yeah, it's the first one of the Marvel movies that I've come out being like, huh, yeah, that feels like art rather than just kind of entertainment, which is a fine thing to be. But yeah, it was really about something which is really nice. Somebody says, "What's left on your bingo card?" Don't worry, if we get to the end and it hasn't been fulfilled, then I will reveal it. Yeah, don't worry. Killmonger was an amazing villain. Really liked it. Mm-hmm. Thoughts on Star Wars? Yeah. The latest one? What was it? Last Jedi. Yeah, I really liked that. I thought it was fun. Some really nice moments. The ramming the ship at light speed, obviously, is a highlight. Yeah, it really felt like they were trying, which is nice. It felt like it was, to me, running up against itself a little. They were trying to have that message about the arms dealers and Canto Bight, and I get what they were going for with that, but then that whole thing about like the wealthy are the people profiting from war, and it's real bad. That was tied into Rose's motivation, but was never really tied into what the rebellion are fighting for, which I'm still not clear on. I now understand, having seen that film, and again, I won't spoil it. I understand what the First Order are fighting for now. I didn't before. I now do, given what happened in the film, and think that, yeah, okay, cool. Like, I understand where the villains are coming from, but I don't really understand what the good guys are fighting for. Like, how will the Republic be different from what was before? So it felt like they were trying to have a bit more of a message than, as a very mainstream Disney film, they could maybe have. I would have liked to learn more about what the good guys actually wanted, other than just like not kill everyone. So, like, are the rebellion going to stop people profiting from arms dealing? I don't know. Are they? I don't know. So yeah, I liked it. It felt like it was trying, which maybe is good. Maybe that's good. That it feels like it's trying and not quite getting there, which I suppose is better than not trying. It could have just been like, it's another like really safe one, and they tried to do something more with it, which is commendable, I think. Somebody says, "Are you going to save this live stream?" Yeah, don't worry, it'll be up on YouTube. Somebody says, "What's your favorite Marvel movie?" I mean, I think now it probably is Black Panther, although that might be because I've just seen it recently. So ask me again in a while. Hey, there it is! There's the final thing. That's bingo. What do you think of A Land of Watan and the School of Life? Somebody asks me every single stream that I do, and almost like every day on my Curious Cat, someone's like, "What do you think of the School of Life?" The answer is that I don't watch it, so I can't tell you. But thanks for playing, and that's bingo. Well done. We have had people asking me to recommend them books. We've had me talking about acting. We've had will you ever do a video about X? We've had me talking about Black Panther. We've had me talking about politics. We've had what do you think of the School of Life? We had another YouTuber in the live chat, H Bomber Guy, graced us with his presence right at the start. And of course, we had a lot of shipping with ContraPoints. So that is Philosophy Tube live stream bingo. Hans the Llama. Have you ever watched Hamilton? You know, I haven't. But a friend of a friend is the MD in it, or is playing in it. So I suppose I'll have to watch it eventually. It's quite difficult and expensive to get tickets, but yeah. Bingo! Yay! People celebrating. People say Thor Ragnarok was good. Yeah, I enjoyed Thor Ragnarok. What's that? What's the director's name who did that? But he's a New Zealand guy, and he also did What We Do in the Shadows, which is a brilliant film. But he also did, I watched it the other night, Hunt for the Wilder People, which is a hilarious and very heartwarming New Zealand film. Yeah, if you can find Hunt for the Wilder People, check it out. It's real good. Do you like spicy food? Yes, I do. Oh, Taika Waititi is the guy's name. Thank you very much. Yeah, great director and a very, very funny man. Yeah. Hunt for the Wilder People, real good. Check it out. Ever considered doing a video on more pop culture and philosophy crossover type stuff? Not full-blown wisecrack, but maybe like the history of philosophy at the center of a movie. Maybe like a little bit. It seems like every single day I log onto YouTube and it's like the philosophy of Rick and Morty. Like, oh, okay. And I know, I've done that as well. I did it ages ago. But every day, it's like it's the philosophy. It's like Rick from Rick and Morty. I'm like, okay. I guess no. That's harsh. I shouldn't judge. There's a place for that, absolutely. And it's maybe good. Maybe that introduces somebody to philosophy for the first time. It's just not my speed and not really what I want to make. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a skill to making, and in fairness, it's a skill that I don't really have, like making pop culture tie-in stuff. Like in YouTube speak, they call it tent polling, which is where like if the next big Marvel movie is going to come out, you make a video which is like loosely connected to that, or like the new series of Rick and Morty comes out, you make a film about Rick and Morty, right? And then you get loads of views, and they call it tentpole because your views go like that, and you get like a tentpole thing. And if Birdkeeper Toby, he's a friend of mine, excellent YouTuber, makes videos about Pokemon. If I was half the YouTuber he was, I would have my videos like planned out because he's real good at that. He does it whenever there's a new Pokemon game, and he's like, bam, he's there. If I was half the YouTuber he was, I'd have had my video on Ethiopian philosophy, which is coming out tomorrow. I'd have had that on the like last week when Black Panther came out, and would have put like a picture of Black Panther in the thumbnail and be like, it's the philosophy of Black Panther, right? And I would have like African philosophy. I would have gotten hundreds of thousands of views, right? But just I don't really think like that. I think like, oh, I'd quite like to do a video on that. That would be interesting. And I'd make videos that interest me on kind of a schedule that I can manage and do well in. So yeah, if I was a better YouTuber, I would do more crossover stuff, and I would get probably more views. But I make videos on what I love and what I'm interested in and what I think other people will be interested in. And I try to make videos that I think will be good and interesting and contribute something new, and not just remix what's been said before or take a Wikipedia article and slap a picture of a cartoon character on it. That's not a veiled jab at anyone, but it's something that if I was a lazier creator, I could do. But yeah. Who do you want to do a collab with? Ooh, I mentioned already that I want to do. I'm trying to put together like a 5-way collab on a Hegel, which is tough. I really want to do a collab later in the year for Halloween with Contra and hopefully Marina Shut Up as well, about witchcraft and witches and the philosophy of witchcraft and like materialism versus magical thinking, because the history of how people changed their minds about witchcraft or didn't is really interesting, as is the philosophy. So yeah, I'd really like that. Who want me to do a video on Max Stirner? I've not read him, but like maybe I'll have to eventually. Do you still listen to Welcome to Night Vale? No, I kind of dropped out. I dropped out more or less just after I made that video on him, actually. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Taika Waititi's going to do a sequel to What We Do in the Shadows called We Are Wolves. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, I really liked What We Do in the Shadows. I thought it was good. Have you seen the film A Ghost Story? Yes, I have. I thought it was phenomenal. I really, really liked it. I was very moved by it. It came at a good time for me because some people I know have passed on recently. So that was, yeah, it was really good for me. I also live in a flat where there are occasionally like random noises. So uh, if you've seen the film, you'll know why that in particular was moving. But if you haven't checked it out, A Ghost Story, it's called. Casey Affleck, I believe, is the lead. It's very interesting. Just kind of, it's odd. Just stick with it. It gets real good. Yeah. Um, all right. Probably you're going to do for 5 more minutes, people. So get your get your questions in. Get your questions in. Have you seen the play that goes wrong? I have not. I haven't. Yeah, I've heard it's good. I think the people that made that were casting a while ago. Um, I'm not sure if I did get an audition for that or not. Anyway, yeah. People asking like, what are your thoughts on various things that I've never seen or read. I'm afraid. Um, favorite pizza topping. So I don't know if they actually have this in America or in other countries, but here, usually wherever you go to a pizza place, there'll be a topping that they refer to as American hot, which will just be like pepperoni and chili. That's usually what I get. Yeah, love a bit of that. It's good. It's very, very good. Who would win in a fight, Sean or H Bomb? I don't know. I don't know what Sean is like physically. I think H Bomb said recently that he was like 12 stone or possibly less. Didn't he lose weight because he did that soy thing? And then having heard that, I was like, oh, that's not a lot. Like I'm heavier than that, but I'm like quite tall and big. So I don't know. It's maybe Sean's like 9 feet tall. Who knows? Um, I'm not sure. I think I'd be interested to see that. I bet H Bomb would have some kind of sneaky trick up his sleeve, but I bet Sean's like properly hench. But H Bomb's gonna start going to the gym. I want to go to the gym. H Bomb, if you're still watching, let's you and me. We'll hit the gym, man. It'll be good. We'll get a proper buff. Stone. What unit is that? It's a unit we use in the UK. Damn it. We still use stone for some reason. I don't know what I weigh in kilos. Or what do you use? Pounds in America? What is that? Somebody says, "How tall are you?" I'm 6'1". Yeah. And when I used to have big, tall hair, and I was 6'2" then. But Sean is all muscle. Yeah, all of it. I bet. Uh, what do you think of a philosophy degree? I mean, mine was good. Yeah. Um, do you ever respond to videos about yourself on YouTube? No. I don't. I usually don't even watch them. I'm not even aware of there even being that many. But yeah. Um, do video games count as art? I bet some do. I quite enjoy them. I haven't played video games in ages, and I really want to. I don't even have a TV in this flat. It's a small flat. I can't really afford it, but I really want to get a Switch and Breath of the Wild and Super Mario Odyssey. In fact, my wish list for the channel, I put a Switch on there as a joke with all the kind of books I use to research the show. I put a Switch on there as a gag. I think maybe later in the year, because I'm not going to stay in this flat for the whole year. I'm probably going to move. When my lease expires. So I'll maybe get a Switch and set myself up when I go. Yeah. Thoughts on Pinter? Haven't done a lot of Pinter. Did some Pinter in a workshop a while ago and really liked it. Yeah. But as my exposure is very, very minimal. Do I have a favorite for the Oscars? No. No, I don't. I haven't seen all the nominations for Best Picture. I've seen Shape of Water and I've seen Get Out. Love them both. Probably on balance preferred Get Out. Shape of Water is real good. It reminded me quite a lot of Edward Scissorhands in terms of tone, just because it was kind of like a fairy tale. And yeah, I liked it. But Get Out made me maybe genuinely uncomfortable in a way that a film has not in a long time. So I was like, ooh, yeah, I'd quite like that to win. It would be good. Yeah, it'd be good. Marx would kick Nietzsche's ass. Maybe. Marx, if the play Young Marx is anything to go by, then Marx kicked a lot of people's asses. Somebody says Breath of the Wild is amazing. Oh, I bet it's so good. I want to get it. I really, really want to get it. What did you find was the hardest sub branch of philosophy for you? Formal logic. Formal logic was tough, but I did like it. Yeah, it was fun. Right. Oh, not The Young Marx. That's a film. Young Marx was a play. I've not seen The Young Marx. Has it come out yet? Yeah. Yeah, I'd quite like to see that. That'd be good. Any tips for someone hoping to break into the leftist video producer community? I think you've got to have a video every week, is what they told me. But H-Bomb and Sean and Contra don't, and they do all right. So if you don't take my advice, I'm a bit of an old salt when it comes to making videos, kicking around nearly 5 years now. Yeah, I don't know. Let's make them good. Sean's got a great new video about how to make good videos, though. So you go and check that out. That's full of good advice. What's your favorite video you made in the past year? Well, that's a nice question to end on, I think. Yeah, what's my favorite video I made in the past year? Let me reflect back on that. Well, hang on a minute. Let me why don't I just pull up my list of videos that I've released? Let's have a look back at my highlights from the last year. Oh, the Philosophy of Anti for one. That was quite an achievement. I was quite proud of that because I'd never done anything quite that big before. And it went down pretty well and was pleased with it. I enjoyed the Are You Rational series. I enjoyed making it. That was good. Let me go back further. The What Was Liberalism series. I think that was when actually, I might say it was my What Was Liberalism series because although it was flawed in places and I could have done more with it, I think. And kind of slightly rickety in places. That was when I think I stepped up the quality of what I made. I was like, I've got a bit more time on my hands now. I want to make these videos good and start making them better because I felt I'd started resting on my laurels a little. So I was like, I want to use stock footage. I want to use voiceover. I want to have B-roll and stuff and just make it a bit more profesh. So I think for not necessarily its content, but just like what it represented for me is creatively. I think that the Liberalism series is one of my favorites, and it did circulate on Tumblr a lot. Yes, somebody says, yeah, which I also enjoyed. People made GIFs of me, which is a long-standing dream. Yeah, it's odd. In this last year, I've gotten more fan art, which is lovely and amazing. And GIFs and like memes and so on, which is really interesting and really cool. I always appreciate it when people make stuff about the show. It's amazing that it can inspire people. H-Bomb gets some great memes that people make out of him. It's brilliant. Yeah. I think this last year has been really, 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 really lovely. Getting to 175,000 subscribers, wow, what a milestone. I can't believe it. And if things continue as they are, Might even make 200 this year, which is astonishing. I mean, you know, obviously to a degree, it's like slightly arbitrary because I always get fewer views than I have subs anyway. So to a degree, it's like it doesn't even matter. But it's still just amazing that people watch the show and enjoy it. So I will say I'm gonna conclude it here and say thank you to all of you for turning out to the live stream. Thank you for being so very lovely and for watching this show. Thank you for playing live stream bingo with me. And tomorrow's episode is about African philosophy and the Enlightenment. And I made it today. It's going to be really good. I'm pretty proud of it. So I'll see you all there for that. So I will say goodbye and have a lovely, lovely evening to all of you. Bye.